Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 19 of series 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. Today I'm joined by the founder, the inventor of Space Plug, the wonderful Cliff Petit. Here we go. Welcome to episode 19 of season 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. All series, all season, we have been inspiring our stars of the future. And today's guest, he's going to be talking about invention, innovation, the KBB industry, and he's going to tell us the Space Plug story. Cliff Petticoat Lane, Cliff Petit, how you doing, sir?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Foynes. Thank you very much for having us.
Foyne Jones to you, sir. Foyne Jones to you. But Cliff, listen, it's been a tough journey because it should have been a beautiful drive along the seaside coast from Eastbourne to Brighton. It's like Armageddon out there, mate, isn't it?
It's stunning. White out all the way from Eastbourne to Brighton.
It is like Armageddon. Charlie, I went for my morning run. How you doing, sir?
We're cracking on.
I went
here.
for my morning run, little 5k down around New Haven Marina, West Beach, bump into the film Crew of Grace again. They're setting up, and I goes to the fella. I said, "I hope you're not not filming a beach scene in the summer, are you?" Yeah. He went, "I don't think they're going to be filming today." As he looked at the grey sky, the rain, and the clouds.
Beautiful British summertime. How nice does it get?
But without our guests, we don't have a podcast, Cliff. And I'm really excited about learning the Space Plug story. All right, I'm really excited about learning that. But without our sponsor, we don't have a show. So thank you, Marcel Creasy. I had a great catch up with Marcel last week, and we spoke about his exciting plans for MHK Holding UK and the rest of the year. So looking forward to linking up with you, Marcel. And thanks to all of our listeners, whether you are listening in the car or on iTunes or Spotify, or you're watching us on YouTube, or you're looking at our video clips on LinkedIn. Without you, we don't even have a series. So let's go to work, Cliff. Let's go to work.
Let's do it. So let's do it.
Cliff, I've got to know you. I think the story is fascinating. The Space Plug story is fascinating. But take a couple of minutes, sir, and just introduce yourself. Tell us what you do and where it all began.
So really, it all begins with my granddad. My granddad was a carpenter, but I was a child of the 80s, so I was brought up to get an education and get into the business world. But having had a farmer career, I went back to setting up a handyman firm and just realised the idea that I've been carrying around in my head for about 25 years, so still nobody had done it. So we decided to give it a go. So that was about 12 years ago, borrowed three grand off my now late dad, and we put in a patent application and we got it. So,
wow.
That was a bit scary. I'd kept it in the dark for a good couple of years, just didn't know what to do with it before I just decided to give it a crack myself, and we've brought it to market ourselves. So, and we now sold nearly 9 million of them. We've taken on some new nationals this year, so there's some more Space Plugs going to be appearing in a kitchen near you very soon.
So let's just slow that down, Cliff, because I think you're doing yourself a slight disservice there. So this concept, this innovation, this time-saving space, so this product that makes a difference, has been in your back in mind for 25 years. That's 5 and 20 years. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a pony in my money.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Mine too.
So it's 25 years. You've gone for it, you've borrowed the money off your old man, you've got it patented.
Absolutely.
Still took you a couple of years to do anything with that.
Absolutely.
All
Needed
right.
to find some money.
So when was that moment?
The moment was actually on a site with a mate of mine.
Yeah.
I'd gone back out to work as happy handyman, and I'd just decided that I wanted to be happy rather than rich. I'd had enough of chasing the dollar and working for pharma companies and all the rest. Just wanted to do what I'd done since I was 10 years old. I'd just been on the tools because Mum and Dad had divorced when I was a kid, and my granddad was teaching me on the tools literally at 10. At 14 years old, I built the first conservatory. I tell you a story at 14. I was tying myself to a 45-foot willow tree and cutting it down with an electric chainsaw. Can you imagine in this day and age letting a teenager tie themselves to a tree and take a tree down in a suburban back garden branch at a time?
I mean,
so
a teenager with a chainsaw terrifies me, Cliff, to be honest.
I did a top job. We came down a branch at a time. I didn't take out a single fence. I was well chuffed.
Circular economy, mate. It's all over it. All over it. But so when was this? So what period? What passage you played? What date was this?
What, the date when?
No, not the tree, not the tree, the
not
space plug.
Yeah, the space plug.
The beginning of the space plug.
So we're
interested in the tree.
2011.
We are. If you've got any footage,
if
you've got any footage of you and the chainsaw, Charlie, we'll have a go, wouldn't we? But we are here to talk about.
I can show you how to do it.
Space plug, please, Cliff, please, come on.
Mate, you might. Yeah. So Space Plug came out 2011.
2011.
We
there
got the
we
patent,
go.
which is rather special because it was about 100 years after Raw Plug, which was bizarre. That was started by two brothers.
You're my best guest ever.
100 years later,
great.
me and my brother started Space Plug. So, yeah, I'm not sure we'll ever match them, that's for sure. But, yeah, there's a lot of synergies there, which is rather bizarre. My brother's 6 years older than me, still bullies me, and but he still puts them all in. He puts them all in the bags for us.
What's his name?
I used to get bullied by Darth Vader's sons. Get that one. If you want to claim to fame, Darth Vader's sons used to come and beat me up with him. Yeah.
He's from Eastbourne, isn't he?
But this was all Croydon. Dave Prowse was a lovely man. Yeah. His two sons, Steve and James, were best mates with my brother. So that's one of my little party claims to fame. So I used to get beaten up by Darth Vader's
I'd like to think
kids.
the Lord of the Sixth is a listener and a viewer of the Foy Jones show, mate. Do you know what I mean?
He might be.
You know, Lord Vader. Shout out to Lord Vader.
How do you think we got this popular?
Oh, there you go, mate. Use your force. So we've got Darth Vader.
What more do you want?
We've got Darth Vader, Cliff. We've got your brother that bullied you. Yeah. We've got you and a chainsaw. Yeah. We've shout out to Raw Plug, fans of the show. Let's talk about Space Plug and what these products do. Please.
All right. I'll give you the lowdown. If you don't know what a space plug is a tiny little, an adjustable spacer fixing is what it's formally called. We're not allowed to call it a space plug because the patent people and the brand guidelines people don't like you doing that. It's the old Hoover vacuum cleaner. So they are undoubtedly space plugs, but we're not allowed to call them space plugs. So they are adjustable spacer fixings. And if you're a carpenter or you're an installer and you have a little gap to make up, traditionally over the years we cut off little lengths of wood, or we cut off little bits of pipe, or we cut a bit of copper pipe or something, and we put a screw down the middle of that. With a space plug, just means it's there already done for you, and then you've got that infinite adjustment once it's there in situ. So you just whack a screw through that, you can still see your raw plug, then you adjust it to size, then tighten it up. So it's always done in 5 seconds with a space plug. It's dead easy.
It's like adjustable legs, really, isn't it?
They're little adjustable legs, yeah, very much, which is why the latest invention has come out, really. The adjustable legs came on the floor, and then if you look back, actually, if you go into our brochure on our website, you'll see back in the 60s, the side panels used to reach all the way to the floor before the kitchen legs were put on. Yeah. And so that's what we're saying now. Now we've basically got a little leg to the wall. Why don't you guys take the side panels back to the edge? Because we don't want them. We have to keep cutting round them and hacking up people's brand new units. So why all of these years, we've designed a system whereby, one, it stalls the installer from actually putting the thing in. He's got to cut it up before he even puts it in. And this idea that we just keep hacking out these side panels. Now sustainability has become such a thing. It's like, well, actually, if you look at some of the size of these companies, I won't name names, but one of the largest company that has a 65 mil void at the back of its kitchen could be looking at saving about 150,000 square metres of board a year with Space Plug Evolution. So, that's about 25,000 boards.
I mean, that's a pretty attractive saving from a term of sustainability, term of time. That's adding value in so many ways. But Cliff, I want to go back. Right? I want to go back to this because you mentioned some big numbers. You said we've knocked out 9 million. So that's a fair old market stall if you're knocking out 9 million a summit. Yeah. So I'm going down your Petticoat Lane route. Yep. But talk to me about about the first few orders when the magic started happening. So I'd imagine that's a special story for anyone on a start-up journey.
Absolutely. It was an amazing few weeks, and it's crazy. And I can still remember the first few people that bought them, and how do I package them, how do I get them out, how do I get there? And I think that was one of the things, not necessarily the first couple of orders, but I remember we had my brother's son over visiting, and we were going off for a few days at Centre Parks. And with having just launched the website, and it was probably 3 or 4 months in, we're starting to get some orders trickling through to the website. and can remember panicking in Centre Parks. If anybody's been to Centre Parks, you know the Wi-Fi isn't brilliant, and I had to keep running down to reception with the laptop
Tell me you didn't run. Tell me you was on one of their bikes and you pedalled down.
Yeah, I definitely pedalled. I do. That was the best way to go, wasn't it? Everywhere is on a bike. So to cut the long story short, I remember by the time we came back with Centre Parks, we had about 10 bags to take down to the post office, and we sort of going round to the post office with this armful, and me and my brother are like, look at this, we've sold 10 packs, you know, how amazing is this? And then I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, we had exactly the same moment as we stood in the logistics warehouse and sent 24 pallets to Howdens. So that was pretty amazing to see boxes upon boxes upon boxes and packs upon packs upon packs. And you'd had this moment with my brother over this like dozen packs round at the post office. And then suddenly here we were with 25 pallet loads going off to Howdens. So, yeah, you get moments like that, and it's really, really lovely. It's really, really lovely. And I sort of sit out the practical side. So if anybody's bought any space plugs in retail, they will have been put in that bag by my brother. He is dispatch. So when you get your posh email saying dispatch is sending these out today, that basically means my brother has stuck them in the post too. And so anything that goes wrong there is entirely his fault. But if we have a beer and we get together or whatever, he sort of says, you don't understand it quite so much like I do, because he counts literally every single one that goes out the door. Yeah. Whereas I'm in the flat round the corner from him and it's all numbers on a computer screen to me. Yeah. But he sort of tangibly has to get these boxes from the factory and turn them into retail stock. And then he says, you know, you just have no idea how many we're sending out, you know, because you're not there physically at it. So, yeah, he's my confidant and my reminder, and he's the practical help. So, yeah, it's nice to be with family and business.
I think it's an amazing story, and when you look at the industry itself and the challenges the industry faces in terms of apprentices, skills, the way it's going to evolve. Having a product that innovates, having a product that adds the value that it does, and it's got a sustainable element to it. I think it's something that you should be really proud of. But looking at the industry as a whole, and you're talking to lots of different suppliers, you're talking to lots of different manufacturers. I've seen what you're doing. How do you see the next few years for the industry? Where do you see the challenges, Cliff?
I think the challenge absolutely is bringing the youngsters on. Is bringing youngsters into the business and enthusing people of practical stuff now. The amount of tech that has come out in the time that one little plastic physical widget has come out. I talk to people all the time and they're saying, I just get approached by app after app after app. And as a salesman, I'm taking it, I'm being asked all the time for technology. And I think we really are now so totally swamped by technology. It's when are we going to get a little bit human again? What's going on with the AI is, to my mind personally, I know it's not everybody's, but to my mind personally, I find in AI is quite scary. I understand there was a new website launched yesterday that is now going to use artificial intelligence to build you a website in seconds. Well, that's just every web builder's job in the country has just gone. And if that's not scary, I don't know what is. So I just think we could do... Not that I'm anti-technology. I'm certainly not anti-technology, and technology has been a huge benefit to me doing what I'm doing. There's no way as an entrepreneur could I have produced the stuff that I've produced in the last 10 years without the advances in computing. But there just needs to be a readdress of the balance, the attitude towards it. Does it have to be the be-all and end-all? Can we not have it in a little bit more balance? Just put the brakes on it a little bit while we all catch up.
There is that. I mean, we as a recruitment business, we have lots of different. We have a video technology which incorporates AI now. We've got a CRM database which is incorporating AI. We've got content which incorporates AI to an extent. But I would say we're at a very beginner level. Yeah. Every aspect of that still needs people. It still needs a personality.
Absolutely.
It needs a personality driving it. It needs added extras there. I know, when a message or something is generated automatically, I can tell. Because you can just see that. But as artificial intelligence is getting better, as it's developing empathy, people are telling me this. What the future holds, I think there will be challenges faced by everyone. But the internet didn't wipe out everyone. We're there, and I share your concern that if the website is able to do that, to push a button. Let's see what comes out the other end and see how it goes there. But it is a relevant conversation to have, and it's not. It can be spoken about quite terrifying, and everyone's an expert, everyone's a guru, everyone's telling you what you've got to do. I'm like, hold on, rein it in. It's only been out 10 minutes, and we have to see that there. But looking at Space Plug and what you've achieved, what are you most proud of?
I think the fact that it's been a family business.
Yeah.
I think that I haven't just gone out there and borrowed a load of money and chucked a load of marketing at it. It's been a deliberate thing for me. And this has come up just recently. And it's been a deliberate thing for me that the idea itself and what was behind it was enough to grow it organically. Yeah. It didn't need to just go on every social media channel within a fortnight and have thousands and thousands spent on it straight away. We weren't well funded. Fundamentally, this business comes to me as a means to live and as a means to exist. It was never to be a millionaire. It was to have a business. And so the fact that it now provides a living for me and my brother, that's its most important job done, in all honesty, if I'm really honest, that we can now make a living. It's expanding now. We've got back orders on the brand new product that's coming out this year, the Mini. There's already orders for 500,000 of those. As I said, we just picked up 2 new multinationals, so undoubtedly our turnover in the next 18 months will be probably double what it's been in the last 18 months, which is quite exciting. I've got some of your I've got the limited edition. That's the limited edition special present for you, Mr.
I've got the limited edition fiddler. Yeah. For me there, and I've got this is my favourite. I've got the little blue helper.
The little blue helper.
Yeah, this is the little blue helper. And I've got the one that most people.
Not suggesting you needed a little blue helper.
Who knows, mate? Who knows? It's, I'm nearly 50, mate, so do you know what I mean?
All I'm saying is I'm 53 and we're ahead of you.
All support is welcome. All support is welcome. Yeah. But let's think about, let's get to know you, Chris. So away from the inventing, away from the cutting down trees, away from spending time with your brother who's bullying you on a daily basis still, and you've had to carry that weight all your life.
All my life.
You've got a passion for scuba diving.
Scuba diving? I quite like a bit of scuba diving. Dive with sharks in Australia and Egypt and places like that. I can't really describe it as a passion, if I'm honest.
No.
It's an
enjoyment. Would you describe it then?
It's an enjoyment. It's a pleasure. Yeah. And I'm more one of these, what we call bimble dives. So you would just go round in sort of 10, 15 metres
of water. Bimble dive later, Charlie?
You want a bimble dive? Charlie will know what bimble is.
It's horrendous out there.
He's got a little blue helper.
And have a bimble. Why not? Bimble diving is like 10, 15 metres water, so it's not very deep. Usually very pleasant tropical waters, either in Egypt or on the Barrier Reef or something like that. And that's when it's really no stress diving. You can sort of see the top of the water. You're only sort of 30, 50 feet down, and it's easy. And there's lots of nice creatures and lots of nice coral to say hello to. So you've got to be, if you're passionate diving, you've got to be passionate in the UK. Like you say, you're often down to less than a metre visibility diving in the UK, and perhaps 10, 12 degrees of water in a dry suit. And you've got to be passionate to want to do that.
Fair play to you.
Definitely. The passion is singing. I'm a frustrated singer, but I'm
no good in the limelight. You're going to get on well with Charlie then, mate.
Yeah. My uncle was an opera singer. My mum was an opera singer. My uncle sung at Covent Garden thousands of times. He used to work during the day in London and then go and perform in Covent Garden. Very much like him. My mum actually knows that family.
Of course. Does he hang out with Darth Vader?
Yeah, no, separate circles. Don't confuse the audience, Peter. Don't confuse them.
Okay.
No, it's my mum knows his mum, I think.
Right,
she tells me she does anyway. Somebody's going to go and look that up, and it's probably complete rubbish. But
that's not like everyone in East London knows the Craze, is it? Because,
that's right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Or if you're South London, we all know the Richardsons.
The Richardsons, if you're South London.
I mean, no. Let's just take a breath, Cliff. So, first of all, I knew you'd bring personality into the studio.
One does try.
I knew you'd bring humour into this studio. May I say, you've exceeded all my expectations, mate. It's an absolute fucking pleasure. We do put parental guidance on the podcast when it goes out, so I'm happy to let the Lord Mayor, a little bit of Lord Mayor in. But let's talk about what we do. We're going to break now, right? But after the break, I'm going to get you to take a breath. I'm going to get you to breathe, all right? And we're going to think about what the future holds for the next generation, and we're going to talk about how we can inspire the next inventor. We're going to talk about how we can inspire the next entrepreneur, the next startup, or just someone beginning their career to dive into what you've achieved and how you've achieved it. We'll talk about what's next for Space Plug. We'll dive into what the future looks like for you, and we'll wrap things up just talking really about what we can expect and see from you over the coming months, and advice for our next generation. How's that sound for you?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Sounds like a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, that was one of the most enjoyable halves of an episode we have recorded this year. Cliff, you're like a tornado, mate. You're like a tornado of ideas, personality, name dropping. He's a friend to the stars. I can't believe we've got Darth Vader. I only threw Go Comparing because he said opera singing. It's been absolutely brilliant. But more importantly, you've carried an idea around. I want to finish the first half of the episode because so many people listening to this clip, they'll have an idea, they'll have a passion, they'll have a side hustle, but they maybe haven't dreamt big enough or followed their heart or followed their dreams. And you get caught onto this hamster wheel of life of, I live to work, I work to live, I earn my money, I spend my money. And you're like, 10 years pass, 20 years pass, and I could have done that. I say to people all the time, we've got one go at this.
Absolutely.
Follow your dreams. And 9 million of these little fellas you've got into the industry, mate, since 2011. That's something we've got to say well done for. So we'll explore that after the break. That was the first half of episode 19.
Life-changing recruitment for the KBB, builders merchant and construction industries, creative social content, specialist knowledge, world-leading video technology, helping you find career happiness and helping your business attract its stars of the future. We are Foyne Jones. This is what we do.
Welcome back to episode 19, and I'm calling this episode the Crazy Space Plug Story because I can't think of any better way to put it. It's amazing what you've achieved, all right? It's amazing what you achieved. But I want to talk about something which is a bit personal and perhaps not as well. I think the overall outcome is, Cliff, but do you want to share with the listeners what happened in China?
Well, no, I can't do that. That's terrible. I'll tell you what I will tell you.
Come on, give me something.
There was 9 of us on a backpacking tour going around the tour of China. And out of 9 of us, and I'm 6'3", I'm 6'3". Out of 9 of us, we had 4 blonde girls, and I was the shortest out of 5 fellas. And if you're doing the basic side of China, not necessarily that, you know that there's 2 things. One is being blonde is quite a fascination for the Chinese, and one is being tall. So being in Tiananmen Square, this group of 4 blonde girls and 5 guys that were all over 6'3", it was like a pop group. Yeah. It was just like a pop group on tour, and we had so many. Did you break into just one cornetto or like Nessun Dorma? No. I'm good when it comes to opera. I'm show tunes. Show tunes, me. It's Uncle Tell.
What's your go-to?
Uncle Tell could do no Nessun Dorma. What chess I was in? I sang. There was 2,000 of us in the Congress Theatre and at the opening night of chess when I was 25. Yeah, if I could stop physically shaking when anybody looked at me, I'd have been a contender, Charlie.
Oh mate,
I got a voice, but the spotlight.
Does that mean we're not making a band together after all? Then
I mean, Charlie's always looking for people to get on the road with him. Mate.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll send you one of the DVDs and you can click that and video link that to it. And
send me a tape.
We had that when Nathan was on last series, didn't he? He said, I wanted a bit. Nathan from Virtual World. He's left Virtual Worlds now, but Nathan was, I wanted to be a band, and I did this, I did that. Yeah. Next thing, he's sending me and Charlie his albums, his things like that. And we're like, this is superb. And I love getting to know people behind the brands, getting to know people behind the business, and getting to know the story because That's important, and that kind of leads us to this part of the episode, because this series, Cliff, if you look to your left, it's about inspiring our stars of the future. Okay, so I just want to dive on that, because you took your concept to market. You're 10 plus years in now. The challenges you faced in making that happen. Others are beginning their journey. What advice would you give to them as they're starting out?
Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. You've got to go for it right from the off. Use everything at your disposal and enjoy it. The more you enjoy it, the more you want to do it. The more you do it, the more success you'll have. So I think that's the key to it, is just don't hold yourself back. I think the difference between perhaps those that are 25 now and when we were 25, and I think I'm 2 or 3 older than you, Pete, but we're pretty close. And I think that was the difference. It was a big deal to try and think that you were going to be a big deal in 1985.
I was 10 in 1995. I was 10 in
95, I should be saying, shouldn't I?
I was 20 then.
So I was born 1970, me.
I'm 5 years behind you, mate.
Right. So, yeah, in 1990.
I mean, this is the Middle-Aged Men podcast. Do you know what I mean?
It is. Can we do a grumpy old man?
No, I don't think we can do grumpy.
Stars of the future.
I don't think we can do grumpy old men. I think we can do like 2 old men having a laugh with a young producer in the studio.
Taking the mickey out of us.
But it is important, though, isn't it? I mean, you said about that, don't hesitate, go for it. But people do hesitate. People do think, what if? So let's talk about some of the things that can go wrong. So what were your biggest challenges? Like those moments when you're like, oh no.
So the big one was having the tooling made in China when we first started out. The tooling was made in China. Got some samples, and hence we got some of these.
I'm just going to fiddle with my space plug fiddler.
You carry on with your fiddler. And so they stick the tooling on a boat to my little manufacturer in Tunbridge Wells, and it arrives, and you've got people waiting on space plugs, and they say it don't work. And we had 3 weeks of absolute panic. They could not get the thing to work. And at one point, they were going to fly it back to China to get repaired and then fly it back here. And then they were going to fly a Chinese engineer over from China. And eventually, our guys just got it just at the death. But yeah, that's 3 weeks of pretty big stress. You've just talked a lot of people up to say we're about to get some space plugs and you're going to like these and these are going to be really handy. And you've managed to get them on the hook a little bit. And then all of a sudden, you just go... and there's no space plugs there, and you're gutted. So I'm going through it again exactly at the minute. So literally the tooling should arrive for the Space Plug Mini from today. And people on Instagram keep saying, when's the Space Plug Mini coming? When's the Mini coming? There's quite a fury waiting on the little minis. And I don't know is the answer. They don't tell you, until it actually lands on the doorstep and gets unpacked. And then you can have anything from... might just plug in and work and start putting out space plugs tomorrow. But it's quite a complicated bit of kit, a bit of tooling. So it could be 2 or 3 weeks before we actually start to get proper supplies out.
Is the actual physical making of the product, so getting it ready to be sold, you know, I have $1 million, I want to sell $1 million, I have 10, I want to sell 10. Yeah. Is that part of the journey harder than, hello, Mr. 10 potential customers, will you buy my product?
Yes, because fundamentally at the minute you can't go to market. It's hard to go to market, and say, would you want to buy some of these if I made some of these?
Would you like these if I maybe had them in the next couple of years?
If I maybe had $1 million of them, would you maybe thinking about buying them off me? You know,
for roughly this sort of price.
Exactly. You know, it's not easy market research by any stretch of the imagination. So it was quite tough to actually say, I've now got to put my money where my mouth is. We've got this patent, we've got it to grant and kept it secret for a couple of years, and now it's about raising another 25, 30 grand to actually go, I need to make these couple of small cars so they make these space plugs. And you've got to have faith in yourself at that point. And that's where a very nice lady came into my life, who's a very good friend of mine. I just needed some faith, and it wasn't like I needed a lot of money, but I went to a lady who's not involved in the KBB industry, and she's not involved really in Spaceplug at all. She's been very much a silent partner of mine. She's got a little 20% share in Spaceplug, but it was really Anna that put $5,000 in towards the patent fees, and then gave us 20 grand to just put in and get started with some marketing without going deep into borrowing and deep into debt. So it was just a bit of faith faith, really. And it was that idea that there was somebody else out there that had listened to me. It was on a skiing trip. Just a bunch of us that were skiing together. And we got chatting. She's a very nice lady. She's been an absolute great help to me personally, and she's been a great confidence builder. So she doesn't really put in on Space Plug, and I don't see her very often. We perhaps only talk 2 or 3 times a year now. She's always off on some yoga retreat or doing something amazing somewhere. She lives in Forest Row, and
I know Forest Row pretty well. So,
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, well, you know the Forest Row ilk.
Yeah.
What do we say?
Yeah.
A friend of mine calls them knit their own sandals from Yogurt Brigade.
Yeah, my eldest son has got some friends they went to school and they've got friends and family from Forest Row. Yeah. So there is a certain DNA that area creates.
That area. I think Ben Elton lives there and a few people like that.
A few of the Game of Thrones actors live there, I know that.
Yeah. And
I mean, you probably hang out with them and Darth Vader. And,
I did for a few months. And it was quite fascinating. You know, I've never been around somebody's house who had a comedy theatre in their back garden. You know, it was not, like that.
What I would say, it's not the real world. It's got its own kind of its own kind of ecosystem going down there, isn't it?
Ecosystem is a good word.
But Cliff, let's go back to that. What Anna's done, and shout out to Anna. She'll hopefully be a listener to the show.
Hopefully she will.
You know, if she can fit us in with the yoga and the holistic stuff,
we could get to Simon Le Bon through Anna. Simon Le Bon is godfather to Anna's children. So there's a little name drop for you. I haven't met Simon yet.
Hungry like a wolf.
Wolf,
right.
Yeah. Duran.
So, what that says, though, is that someone was there.
Gave me some faith.
And you met them in not a traditional raising capital type project,
exactly.
you know. So someone saw the potential in you, saw the potential in the product, gave you that confidence to go for it.
Absolutely.
And has actually acted, by the sound of it, like a sounding board, like a mentor,
She's been a fantastic
like an
mentor,
advisor, and people that are actually, they want the best for you, the best for the business, the best for the product.
Yep.
That's invaluable.
Absolutely.
And finding the right person and being careful, because there are vultures out there. There are people who pull your pants down out there.
Exactly.
And I hear the horror stories of when things have gone wrong.
Yep.
You know, and people are overcommitted, or they've over-borrowed, or they've been, you know, they've signed something really special away. Someone's taken advantage of them. So that's a powerful message there. That, you know, that confidence she gave you has helped get you where you are today.
The confidence that she gave me more than the product. Yeah. Because that's the truth of it. You know, it doesn't matter what you've got there. You're talking about what you are as a human being.
You've got to believe it yourself, though, haven't you?
You have to be able to believe it yourself. And that's why it's been such a slow progress. It was difficult for me to believe in this modern technological world that such a simple mechanical device has still been overlooked for so long. You can't think a 2-part piece of plastic can have any space in the world that hasn't already been created. So it was very hard for me to believe that actually millions of people will find it. And it's something really, if I'm honest, we delivered, I took purchase orders from 2 new nationals just 4 weeks ago.
Well done.
And that was the first time since I started I shed a little tear. I genuinely did. And just sat in my room on my own and just went, wow, you've actually really done what you set out to do now. And everything else is just on top.
I think it's important to take the time to do that as well, because, you know, I enjoy what I do, and you know, I celebrate what I do. You know, I interrupted our pre-show meeting because I had a call that I couldn't miss,
totally.
and I bring something, and I'm like, look, this isn't ideal, Cliff. I need 15 minutes. You're like, don't worry, mate. I'll make myself busy. Like, I'll have a mooch around. But that's the pressure of owning your business. You've got one chance and you want to maximise that. So to go and secure those purchase orders, why shouldn't you shed a little tear? Why shouldn't you have a beer? Why shouldn't you celebrate? Because actually, we're all battling to get to that point. Yeah. And we're all battling for that element of recognition and success. And I think that's what inspires me so much about the Space Plug story. It's begun with your granddad. You know, and you said that with such love when you said that. You know, it's a family business involving your brother, and it's now local as well. Upfield, some of the production or all the production.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of it like that. To be
there
honest,
you go. I'm here to help.
The whole Space Plug is all Sussex based now. Yeah. We've got my best friend Johnny's up in Halifax. So shout out to Johnny, who's in all our videos. He was amazing. He's up north. I do spend a lot of time driving up north, I must admit. So that's where the people people are that I need tend to be up north. So
I can see why you would end up in that demo. I can see why, but I can see I can see the logic behind that's where I'm going to go, because there's value there if those meetings go well.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of time been spent on the M1. You get.
Do you ever mix it up and go down the A1?
No.
Well, what about a bit of
what
about a bit of M1, A40, M40, a bit of that?
I've attempted M40. I've gone a few times.
I mean, you're turning your nose up, mate. You don't look like you're a fan.
It's a struggle, isn't it? It's breaking
habits.
You're talking to a 53-year-old.
I mean, you are
Wait till you get to my age. You'll be stuck in your ways.
You are turning this into a middle-aged man traffic motorway podcast. So we're gonna get the head out of this. Let's talk about what's next, though. So what have we got to look forward to on the Space Plug evolution, the journey? What's coming next, sir?
Well, what's coming next is what I hope is a lot of the nationals and a lot of the European nationals get behind evolution. So what I really need is, whilst I've been out there,
this is your shop. This is your window. Mate.
This is my shop window. So I'm gonna take a second to have my shop window.
Go
and
for
talk to all the installers. All the installers that have been buying space plugs is that if you want to stop buying space plugs, please just go to your manufacturers and say, you guys can give us the space plugs, and you can speed up our fit, and you can save some material, and you can make us stop cutting up your brand new units just by turning to Space Plug Evolution. They will actually save some money. The fitters will all get their space plugs free of charge, and the customers don't get their brand new units cut up. So if somebody can tell me the hole in this rationale that actually says, let's save some timber, make the job easier, make the job more professional for the customer, and make the life easier for the fitter, then I'd love to hear from them. So feel free to write in on the answers on a postcard.
I knew he was going to say answers on a postcard, please. I knew he was going to say that.
The 80s, you got it.
Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jack.
Yeah, here we go. Look, here we go. Grange Hill.
If you haven't got a postcard, you can just do it on a sealed down envelope.
Yeah, sealed down envelope, mate. Cracker Jack was just before Grange Hill, wasn't it? So happy old days. Charlie will have no idea what we're talking about there, mate. He would have absolutely no idea. But do you know the passion? And I'm going to get Charlie. You have to cut that bit there, mate. We have to have that. Cliff needs that bit. That's like a party political broadcast on behalf of Space Plug and the entire installation industry.
It's the industry. Installation industry should be behind this. So you need
to be up at the installer show, the KBB show, just on repeat.
We're talking to Damien at the moment, so hopefully Damien's going to give us a chance to come and demonstrate.
Top guy, mate, friend of the show.
Absolutely.
2-time, 3-time Point Jones show appearances.
Fantastic character that man is, and the stuff that he gets up to, he's amazing. Yeah.
All I'd say, mate, next time you speak to Mr. Waters, 2 pie, 2 mash, 2 liquor. Job
is
done.
That what does it for me?
That'll get you through the front door, mate. But again, Damien's been
for you, Mr.
Damien and BIKBBI doing amazing things. What they're doing for apprentices and what they're doing for industry. Absolutely fantastic. They've just announced their diversity ambassador. They're doing some really, really great stuff. And I see the work you're doing and where it's being picked up by people that can really influence the industry in the right way. So long may it continue.
Bless you, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
You enjoyed yourself today?
I've had an awesome time. It's a bit scary. You're not used to it. And, I'm a bit of a random character, as you might have noticed.
We could deal with that. I'd say this series, Charlie, would you say is the most random?
Yeah, we've had all sorts. You're a natural for it, mate.
Honestly, I've got one for you, Plugcast.
Plugcast, there we go.
A series of you with the installer, with the supplier, with the homeowner.
That'd be interesting.
We'd be chatting for days.
Filmed at the little pub in Forest Row. Away you go. What more do you want?
After 3 Morettis, and it just doesn't even stop there.
Black Peter's. I don't know what it's called, but it used to be Black Peter's Bar in Forest Row, didn't it? It used to be the.
It can't be called that now, can it? In Forest Row.
I mean, that's what the sign's called, isn't it? It definitely was. But look, thank you so much, Cliff.
You're more than welcome
for being part of the Foy & Jones show. You've made episode 19 a really special episode. So let's just go right back to, you spoke about your invention, you spoke about the challenges you've been through. I want you to give me something to take away, to give to the next generation. And people are thinking, should I do this? What will I be able to do it? What's the worst that can happen? Give me 3 bits of advice for people who are thinking of starting their own business or bringing something to market. 3 bits of advice to wrap the episode up.
Go for it. Don't be frightened. Just go for it straight off the bat. Don't think you need money. Don't think you need stuff. That's the most important thing, is don't put up imaginary barriers. The chances are that whatever it is you think you need before you start, you probably don't. Just come from a different angle. So definitely the first thing is go for it. And don't put up any pretend barriers to yourself. Well, the second thing is be yourself. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the trip. Like you say, we're only here once. And I wish I'd had a slightly different take on realising that, the trip is every day. It really is every day. And, just be yourself. Just be yourself. I think there's an opportunity now for people that we're really not being judged or coerced or talked to in the ways that we were 25 years ago, perhaps. No. And that's really nice.
There's a freedom of work. There's a flexibility of work. There is a approach to life now, and I think the loss of life that we all saw during the pandemic it's changed people's thoughts on a lot of stuff.
They're getting it.
But I'm gonna. This is what you said there. Just if you break it down, go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
Make every day count.
I think everybody
Number one,
has to
go for it.
Yeah.
Number two, make every day count.
Yeah.
And number three, be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're three pretty grown up, sophisticated takeaways. Yeah. And do you know what you did? You've done that from the heart, and I think that's the most important part. You've been a brilliant guest. I've enjoyed this episode. We're going to go again with something special towards the end of this year, and I can't wait to see what the future of Spacebug brings. Thank you so much for being part of the show, Cliff. It's been a brilliant episode. Charlie,
bless you, Charlie.
This man's exceptional. What a guest. What a guest. What a podcast. What an episode. We'll see you next time for what sadly will be the last episode of season 6. Cliff, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you for being part of the show.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I said, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out next week's episode as we will keep inspiring our stars of the future.